Good evening, President Condon, Vice President Griffin, members of the Town Council, and our West Springfield residents. Thank you for this opportunity to share what together we have accomplished in the last year, along with thoughts on challenges and opportunities we face in the future. It was just over a year ago that I was given the privilege to serve as West Springfield's fourth mayor by the voters of this great city. As I stand here tonight, I am as appreciative and proud of this privilege as I was when I first took the oath. One of my goals has been continuous improvement of communication and public accessibility. I know you all have busy lives, so over the last year, I've made it my mission to attend as many community events as possible, expand community hours, and restart the tour of West Side. I've seen so many examples of community involvement, and there are too many to list here. However, some events that stand out in my mind as examples of the caring community we're all a part of include the hundreds of residents that turned out to pay their respects to Prince William County Police Officer Ashley Gwyndon, who was killed in the line of duty and laid to rest here at St. Thomas. The support and welcoming to those visiting the Wall That Heals, a replica of the Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C., that drew thousands to the grounds of the Eastern States Exposition. The dozens of events, including the Taste of the Valley, Earth Day Cleanup, Winter Carnival, and Arts Festival. It's no wonder I'm proud to say that I'm the mayor of West Springfield. Our government, though, is not derived from the actions of a single individual. We are fortunate that we have teams of talented people working with one goal in mind, the betterment of our city. These teams include the Town Council, the school committee, our department heads and employees, and of course, the many citizens that serve on our volunteer boards and committees. Without all of you, our achievements in 2016 would have been difficult, if not impossible. So I thank all of you for your cooperation and support in achieving these great outcomes. When I first came into office, just about a year ago, I had the 5-point plan. And briefly as a reminder, that includes the 3 A's, including accessibility, approachability, and accountability, creating a safe community, building great schools, encouraging business development, and fighting blight. But underscoring all 5 of these points has always been fiscal responsibility. And our current budget for fiscal year 2017 has had no increase in taxes. A sound fiscal plan we can all be proud of because we all were part of it created. Debt service payments for the new high school and library are being kept low by avoiding additional debt. Instead, current capital projects are being paid for with cash on hand, a practice I anticipate will continue into fiscal 2018 as we plan for the construction of Coburn School. Working with our departments, we have looked for ways to stretch local dollars by applying for grants, receiving over $1.8 million just in my first term. These funds will be used to improve our parks, streetscape, older neighborhoods, improve energy efficiency, safety for our streets, historic preservation, and equipment for training and emergency preparedness and public safety. The full costs of the newly created Central Maintenance Department were first reflected in the fiscal 2017 budget. And I'm pleased to report that we have benefited from improved efficiencies in management, eliminated duplicate services, and increased maintenance on items often deferred in the past for parks, schools, and municipal buildings. I want to take this opportunity now to publicly recognize Scott Moore, Director of Central Maintenance, and his staff for their great work. Through our Green Community designation, we have worked hard in improving energy efficiency. We've saved over $140,000 in this fiscal year alone. We have updated inefficient energy appliances and invested in 2 solar projects, one in Montague and one in Southwick, which provide us net metering credits that the city uses to substantially lower our electric bills. Not only was this good for the city's bottom line, it was good for the environment by reducing greenhouse gas emissions, equivalent to a power plant having to burn approximately 154,000 pounds of coal. These investments will generate a projected $4 million in savings to the community over the next 20 years. In our search for additional energy savings, we have learned about an energy aggregation program that will further reduce the energy costs for the city. This program has the added benefit of passing the savings directly to our residents and businesses. As I stated in the beginning of this speech, accessibility is important to me. We have made every effort to give the public full access to information on what is happening in town and in the community at large. In addition to the town council meetings, which have been televised since early 2000, we've begun televising the meetings of our land use boards, which include the Planning Board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Conservation Commission. The meetings are streamed live on our local access channel, Channel 15, as well as the city's Facebook page and live stream. Past meetings are archived and available on these platforms and the city's website, which will actually soon be updated to improve user-friendly experience. We have worked to create a safer community by performing traffic signal improvements around the community, including the town common, as well as pedestrian crossings and building better sidewalk ramps that are bringing us into ADA compliance. Access to and from the town common has long been a priority of the town council, and I'm pleased to say this has provided safer pedestrian access to our town center. These improvements in part grew out of the Complete Streets ordinance, passed by the council in March of 2016. The Complete Streets program has also received grant funding from Mass DOT in the amount of roughly $50,000 to study areas that can be improved for motor vehicles, bicyclists, and pedestrians. We have given our police new tools to assist them performing their duties, including providing officers with Narcan so that tragic deaths from overdose of narcotics can be avoided in individuals suffering from this insidious addiction. We've also obtained new traffic safety equipment through the use of grant funds, including a new traffic safety vehicle and speed monitoring equipment. I am pleased to report that our efforts to improve the state level of our schools has received a boost by the movement of Memorial School from a level 3 to a level 1, joining other level 1 schools, Coburn, Bawsey, and Cabot. Mittenegg and the middle school remain designated level 2. The high school, though making great strides to improve, including an 85.2% graduation rate and 78 students receiving the highly competitive Abigail and John Adams scholarships, is a level 3. The state rating system is not always based solely upon student achievement, though, nor does the system adequately portray the dramatic improvement our schools have made over the past 2 years. Now, I want to take this opportunity to thank Superintendent Richard and his team for their efforts to improve our schools' rating system in the state. Now, academic achievement alone does not provide a full view of the West Springfield High School experience. Our students also had a good deal of team achievements to be proud of as well, including our baseball team winning the Division I state championships, girls soccer, boys cross country, and cheerleading all won Western Mass Division I championships in the fall. And just recently, both wrestling, swimming, and indoor track all sent athletes to state. These achievements, as well as countless other trophies from our storied past, have led us to create the West Springfield Hall of Fame Committee. And I'm pleased to announce that they have already begun meeting and hope to provide a detailed update of their ongoing happenings at the Champions Parade this summer. I want to congratulate students receiving scholarships, achieving perfect scores and advanced placement tests, and the teams capturing these coveted titles. All of our students should be proud of their individual and team efforts in achieving these milestones. The library had its grand opening back in April, a resource this community should be proud of. The library, as Andrew Carnegie once said, is a never-failing spring in the desert. I want to acknowledge and thank Library Director Tony Glinski-Foisey and her staff for working out the hiccups of the new building and its systems, making the transition appear seamless and easy. The library is a very important community focal point. I encourage you all to utilize the fine features and modern technologies, including several community rooms available for use and rental. West Springfield has been known as the crossroads of New England. We are the intersection of many transportation routes. In the past, this fact largely helped the community become what it is today, a convenient place to do business and a great place to live. However, today West Springfield is at an altogether different crossroads, where past and future are intersecting in ways our ordinance and regulations have not been able to adequately address. This intersection, if not properly managed, has the potential to inhibit business growth in unintended ways. It is important for us to hold on to the things that have shaped our community into the place to raise a family with its good schools, healthy economic sector, but also look to the future by giving residents and businesses the chance to succeed in a continually changing and complex economic environment. The 2008 economic downturn has taught us that our local government can no longer sit passively by on the sidelines, hoping that geography alone will attract business to our community. That is why we have been taking a fresh look at how the city government can help business thrive. We do not want to inadvertently hinder growth and ingenuity by the application of outdated standards serving ethereal goals that are not grounded in community priorities. My office, in cooperation with the council, has been taking a fresh look at our ordinances, regulations, and policies. Many of these regulations were adopted decades ago. Together, we're working to ensure these rules are consistent with the city's values, the regional economy, and the opportunities that technology and new ideas have brought to the market of the 21st century. To that end, we have begun the process of reevaluation and change where necessary. In March of 2016, I submitted a draft zoning ordinance reform package. Since that time, I have been working with the community to put together a blue ribbon committee of counselors, planning staff, planning board members, business representatives, and members of the general public to review these ordinances which have not seen a comprehensive update since 1996. The review committee has begun meeting and reviewing these changes, and I look forward to working with the committee on recommendations for an up-to-date, fully recodified zoning ordinance in the near future. On the 2nd and 4th of each month, I, along with department heads, hold bi-monthly pre-permitting meetings. The purpose is to both help new and existing businesses navigate our permitting process, and also to give an eager entrepreneur feedback on things to consider prior to taking a risk on their business concept. Our efforts to assist in the permitting process have already paid us dividends. The redevelopment of 380 Union Street, which has renovated the former Gilbarco property to a regional U-Haul service center, has created over 100 new jobs. The property, which was previously becoming a blighted hulk, has added over $1.5 million in assessment to our tax rolls. Bowles & Sons Volkswagen and Audi, a Memorial Ave business since 1974, has reaffirmed its commitment to West Springfield with the recent opening of its newly constructed $6 million showroom and service center. Now, on the smaller business side, an entrepreneur has recently been approved for an innovative reuse of a property damaged by the 2011 tornado. A 10,000 square foot West Springfield Sportsman Center, which will combine an outdoor sportsman's retail store and a 17-lane firing range for recreational shooting and archery practice, will soon break ground. The Memorial Ave corridor is experiencing a rebirth, as these and additional businesses, including Chipotle, Florence Bank, and many others, invest in the area ahead of the eventual reconstruction of the entire stretch of Memorial, following the completion of the Morgan Sullivan Bridge. Fighting blight is not just about removing decrepit old buildings or unsightly lots. I believe it's the introduction of uses that better utilize properties in ways that create a community of users that bring life, activity, and safety to both the property itself and its neighbors. We have been successful in both the traditional sense of fighting blight and the active creation process. I'm pleased to say the Blight Task Force over this past year has returned 17 derelict properties to the viability and removed 4 unsalvageable structures. We'll also be creating a universal access trail on city-owned property at 429 Morgan Road, which is the site of the former Agawam West Springfield Elks and current home of the newly renovated Irish Cultural Center. This is an exciting project that protects from blight and neglect by introducing a positive and active use of the property. Finally, West Springfield's recent commitment to partner with AARP and become an age-friendly community highlights our desire to build a city welcoming to every generation. Strong communities are truly the best defense against blight. I want to thank our Council on Aging Director, Lori Cassidy, for making this partnership possible. Looking back at these accomplishments, we must remember that this year has only been the starting point. Our continued success is going to require a commitment from all of us to do the hard work that lies ahead, and I know I can count on all of you. As I look forward, I shall continue to enjoy attending as many events as possible and stay connected and available to all of you. As the federal government changes over the next 4 years, one thing is clear: that as more decisions will be made at the state and local level. And we all know that local decisions have a more tangible and immediate effect on our daily lives and the lives of our citizens. In considering citizens' input, I've developed a program that lays out some goals over the next 5 years. And I call this plan simply Together, because working together is the only way we can improve our community life. Over the next our 5-year Together plan, which you'll be hearing more about over the next year, is in summary one where we'll be looking at ways to improve our operations through the use of new technology, organizing and reorganizing local government services in the most flexible fashion that will effectively meet city demands, while continuing to seek grant funding that helps us innovate and improve. Education will continue to be one of our highest priorities. Working to upgrade the rating level of our schools to make West Springfield one of the best school districts in the Commonwealth. Planning for our annual spending in the fiscal year 2023 and beyond, we will keep taxes in the forefront of our minds at all times in order to deliver our taxpayers the best value for every dollar they contribute. We shall make every effort to avoid raising taxes by being mindful of our spending. We will continue to create a healthy and safe environment that respects and protects the quality of life in our communities. In 2017, and well into our future, we will work toward creating a culture that reflects the community values that allows for innovation and change. It has been an honor and a pleasure to have been your mayor this past year. I look forward to the future with an eager and open mind, as together we can meet the challenges ahead and seize on the many opportunities available to West Springfield. Thank you.